Hi everyone, welcome to Matt and AJ's podcast. We're going to do a few podcasts and see how they go. Welcome AJ. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like this. It does, it's two of us talking, focusing on a certain subject, getting in depth into it, a shorter sort of span than what a live would be. And just focused and bam. And how often are we doing these, Matt? Every couple of weeks is the plan?
Probably every couple of weeks we'll do this. So it might vary in length, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends how it goes. But yeah, like AJ said, it won't be too long.
I don't think they'll end up going over 45 at all.
No.
But but depending on the subject and we keep it tight, we keep it concise, we keep it bam, bam, bam. No nonsense being thrown in.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be talking about collecting multiple editions or double dipping a discussion. So join us after this little intro. Welcome back. So discussion today about double dipping or collecting multiple editions of the films that we love. Why do we do it?
Who does that? Come on now. That's just stupid. The collector's nightmare.
It is.
I'm not guilty of it. I never double dip.
No. So why do we do it?
Why do we do it? So when did double dipping begin? When, did we used to, I suppose we did. VHS days? Did we double dip then?
Possibly. I mean, I think generally, back in the day, you would have rented stuff. So on VHS, and then you may have bought the edition when it came out, but we didn't tend to have those special editions, did we? Maybe the odd one now and again, but it certainly wasn't to the degree that we get it now.
No, but back then, George Lucas, we're looking at you. How many versions of Star Wars did we have on the VHS day?
Absolutely, yeah. All the different box sets.
You went from standard, pan and scan. You went into widescreen.
Yeah.
You had that. What was that? Executor. The Executor. Was it the Executor box set? The big tin.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah. Was Executor, wasn't it? I think
it was. Yeah.
They had the logo on the front, the Imperial logo.
Yeah.
So it was happening back then, but not to the extent that we're seeing now.
No. I mean, I think as time's gone on, obviously with the new formats coming out, VHS, then DVD, Laserdisc as well. I'm guessing then people started to collect the same films that they love, i.e., an example, Blade Runner or The Matrix.
Yeah.
These sorts of films and the ones that you'll see on the Titans of Cult releases that they do time and time again. These are the sorts of films that people like to double dip.
They are. Are we being taken for a ride? Are we being ripped off?
Well, you could argue that it's our choice. No one's forcing us to buy it. But I think it comes into the fact that it's more than just the film, isn't it? That we're buying these editions for. We're buying them for the packaging. We're buying them for the tat, as we say. All these sorts of things.
So, would you buy? And I mean, it's a silly question because the answer is yes, because you have and I have. Would you buy an edition minus the discs?
Very possibly. And actually, there is an edition that I have pre-ordered like that, a discless edition, and we're starting to see those actually now, discless editions.
Exactly. So it goes beyond. We're not even buying the film.
Yeah.
Got to the point that we're not even purchasing the film. We're buying casing for the film. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I know that for my birthday, my wife has bought me an edition, is it a wheat edition or a film one of them sort of things. I don't know what one it comes under. If I told you the title, you'd be able to tell me. And I know that it's discless. Yeah, it's crazy because we're not buying it. We've gone beyond buying it for the film. We've transitioned into here's a case for you to, because then I can go down CEX, and if I want another version of the film, I can buy it cheap and just put it into it.
Yeah.
I bought the WandaVision one, discless. Crazy.
It is.
But this is it. The psychology comes into play, doesn't it? You know, as you know, with marketing, there's a lot of psychology that is, you know, and we're kind of weaned into this stuff. You know, like I said, I go back to the VHS days. Yes, George Lucas, Star Wars. I think that was the repeat offender back then, with multiple editions over and over again. Then we moved into the DVD era, right? And now for me, I know that there was a few special editions of DVDs that came about, but it felt like it was a quieter time for it. In hindsight, in retrospect, me going back, I may be wrong. I know that you had your steelbooks or your tin editions, whatever they called them, and I was pretty good at ignoring that sort of stuff back then. And it was just the film. It was the film, and then obviously we stepped into Blu-ray territory. And again, I think early days for me of Blu-ray was about the film and not about, you know, even when steelbooks. I remember when steelbooks first came about, right? And I remember ignoring them. And I remember when Captain America: First Avenger came out. So we're going back to late 2000s now, 2009 maybe, around that sort of era, 2010. And I remember getting the steelbook for it. That was my first purchase. And I sold it. I sold it on eBay because I wasn't happy that it was a steelbook amongst Amarays, because I yet hadn't sort of developed a liking for the steelbook.
Yeah.
And so eventually I got weaned onto steelbook editions.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, you know, I've got editions of films in different formats. You know, you've got the media book. I actually prefer the media books actually to the steelbooks, because whilst the steelbooks, you know, you get some wonderful artwork on the front, the back, sometimes on the inside. They're such easily dented, aren't they? And you know, you can get this rust issues, scratches, all this kind of thing.
Issue only with your little greasy mitts, Matt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. But I have seen it with other people. It is, you know, it does happen.
You've got like toxic fingers.
Yeah.
You touch a steelbook and rust develops. I don't know what's going on there.
No, I don't know.
That's a sort of supervillain power that you're yet to develop. A sort of an X genome that is yet to develop in you.
Yeah, I'm a mutant. Yeah.
Yeah, when you touch something,
the X-Men.
It turns to rust, and all we're seeing is the early days of it. You know, come 10 years time, you touch something and it just falls apart.
Yeah. I do. But yeah, I mean,
that's why you used to wear gloves in your early videos.
I did do that. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, as I say, I think, yeah, we are guilty of this sort of buy, but it's not just one steelbook as well. It's multiple steelbooks. I mean, you've done it yourself with the Mondo steelbooks.
I have.
You know, and you're buying them ultimately for the designs because the discs inside are pretty much the same. They're not even putting additional content onto those discs. They're
No,
just literally just rinse and repeat.
that and that's that it is the design. It's about the artwork. I mean, all right, I'm not going double dipping. I'm not talking double dipping here. But when you look at, you know, the artwork that you've got on steelbooks like Prey and Loki, WandaVision, The Mandalorians, there's some really nice artwork produced on some of these editions.
Absolutely.
So it is about appreciating the designs and the love of, you know, it's like the love of physical media, the love of film has extended beyond the film in some cases. And you know, I mean, steelbooks themselves, I think that when I pick up a standard steelbook now and it is literally just a steelbook with nothing else, I feel kind of like I'm picking up a regular edition.
Yeah.
Because they're so frequent. Everything's got a steelbook now. When I pick up a steelbook like your sort of Best Buy exclusives, but you do get some over here where you've got the transparent slip that forms it forms a different artwork to it. You get, you know, you get a first artwork, and when you take that off, you've got something different. It sort of adds to it. That sort
the
of thing.
aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting something a bit more, a bit extra, a bit more special. The steelbook doesn't feel overly special now, but certainly I still do dip in. With Marvel stuff, I was really bad because I would get a steelbook and an Amaray version, and I've upstairs literally I have got, there's all the steelbooks of the Marvel content, then there's all the Amaray of the Marvel content. It's stupid.
It is really, when you think about it, because you can only watch the one version of the film. But like I say, it's almost become more than just the film, because you're collecting, like you say, you're collecting the artwork, and then when you get into these collector's sets with the postcards, the booklets. But again, I feel like, and I agree with you, there's two types of booklets, aren't there? There's booklets with just the artwork, and then you get the booklets with actually some text about the cast, the crew, the making of. And, you know, you feel like you're getting more value for money with a booklet, or, you know, some of them are actual books, but often they're booklets. Far more value for money. So again, so you're feeling like you're getting something extra for your money, which you wouldn't get in a standard edition.
I think that's a transition out of you know, the special features. You know, a lot of people buy for, you know, they will double dip because of special features. I mean, when you go into like Criterion collection stuff outside of standard Amaray, you've got you know, obviously you don't get the steelbook or anything like that, but you do get a wealth of additional material on there, which you don't have on the other edition. Like, you know, let's take Thelma and Louise. I think that's the one that's latest that I spoke about. It's in my mind. You had it originally released, then you had an edition from Criterion. You got a wealth of extras. So to me, the booklet. I mean, the booklet for me is a huge. I like the booklet. I like it when you get a book. I don't care if it's 20 pages, right? I don't particularly like it when it is photos. A photo booklet does nothing for me, because I open up a release and you've got art cards, you've got a poster, you've got a photo booklet. It's all the same stuff. It's the same, right? Just in a different format. It's a picture. It's a picture, whether it be poster, postcards, or pictures in a booklet. There's no difference. But if you've got something with a bit of text in, it sort of transcends and adds to the special features. Okay, I'm not sat there watching it. I'm sat there reading it. And, you know, I don't mind reading. A lot of people don't read. I get that, and a lot of people don't like reading, but it's easier to sit and watch something and digest it. But I'm not beyond sitting and reading a book. So I like that aspect to the editions.
Absolutely, and I think Arrow are leading the way on that. I think they certainly do. With most of their releases, certainly the limited edition ones, they will include either a nice book. You've seen it with RoboCop, the Conan Chronicles. That's got a meaty book in it. Obviously,
yes.
2 of the films. The Barbarella one that they brought out recently, Waterworld, Robin Hood, all of these titles. And like you say, almost you can get like a retrospective sort of, in these books. Or again, Arrow are very good at doing sort of, sort of lots of extra special features that you might not have found on the standard edition. So you can see why us as collectors, whilst some years ago we'll have bought the standard Amaray or the Steelbook that came out, and then a few years later they're then bringing out the Arrow special edition of the particular film with the book, with the extra features. So there's that tendency to want more from the production, to learn more about what went into it, like you say, retrospective documentaries and all this kind of thing. So yeah, that feeds into that sort of, and like I say, it's very clever because it's kind of almost giving new lease of life to that film, that was produced 20, 30 years ago or whatever. So yeah,
but then you step into this sort of what I like to think of as the rip-off side of this thing, right? Okay, when you've got a film from 20 years ago, right, and you get a new edition of it today with some, newer stuff, there's something about it, your 4K of it, do you know what I mean? You get a book, a retrospective, maybe documentary, all this sort of a thing on board. And like I said, I always say a retrospective documentary for me is, I love them because you get an earnest truth about the making of the film. Whereas when you get a brand new film and you get all this little making of documentary, it's not a making of documentary. It's a puff piece to sell the film that was made to advertise and promote the movie. But, when you get a good audio commentary, a good retrospective, and with retrospectives, ones that I can throw out off the top of my head would be Jaws, most definitely. Steven Spielberg's Jaws, fantastic how to find out about how he filmed that and made that, and how the studio didn't want him. He wanted him to do it all green screen, and he refused. He said, "I'll go out and do it on the road," and how it's just filmed on this pretty small stretch of road, and to get the sense of speed. You'd have close-ups. The lorry or the car would be driving alongside a sort of cliffside, so it's close. So you're only driving slow, but the background's moving like that, and you get this sense of speed, and you get that. More recently, the RoboCop documentary that came out alone, the 4-part RoboCop documentary. I know that it's not double dipping or anything like that, but again, a retrospective that would be great. If they'd done another RoboCop edition of the 3 films, whatever, and that was included as part of it, you could see something special there being done with it. But again, an earnest, honest thingy. So again, that's, what I mean. And Evil Dead, when you watch like Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, the commentaries that you get on them, again, spot on kind of earnest truth and fun. They laugh at the films. They take the mick out of the films. They point out all their friends from school that they brought into it to play parts. Little anecdote about Kurt Russell when he met Bruce Campbell and workshed line in one of the scenes. All this stuff, and it's great. It adds to it. So you get these older ones, older films, but then, like I said, the rip-off side of it, Arrow, and you know, RoboCop will give you a RoboCop edition. It's not 4K, it's Blu-ray. It's off of a 4K transfer, but Blu-ray. And then a year down the line, here's your 4K. It's exactly the same packaging, exactly the same. So they've got you there. They've made you buy it there as a Blu-ray, and people go out and buy it. Then you get the 4K. People go out and buy it again.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they couldn't have been. Now, I will say, Arrow have, you know, more recently they've just released Donald Sutherland, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion, yeah.
I had to do the action. They released you had the Blu-ray special edition and the together.
Yeah.
So okay, you've got the choice. You've got the choice, and a £5 difference between standard Blu-ray and 4K, which ain't a lot really. But when you've got a year between them, and they're saying, "Well, here's this," everyone, go and buy that RoboCop. Yeah. Oh, 4K a year later, RoboCop.
Yeah. And they've done it with Conan as well. They released the Blu-ray, although for us, because it's only being released in the US, unless you've got a region 3 player, the Blu-ray is no good to you. You need to get the 4K for the region 3. But yeah, I mean, it's clever because you'll see on the back, certainly on the Blu-ray, it usually says that it's like a 2K restoration. So in effect, what they're doing on the Blu-ray, on the 4K, they're just putting added HDR implementation on there. Possibly if some of them do have like an Atmos track on there, so they'll put that on the 4K exclusively, and they'll just put the 5.1 or the 7.1 mix on the Blu-ray. But like you say, if there's not much of a price difference, it's worth going for the 4K. But if you're talking £10 or £15 difference, you know, depending on your budget and you know this sort of thing, is it really worth that upgrade? You know, but let's say people will do it because they want, you know, if they love that film, they'll want the best version of it.
Is it worth it, the upgrade for a film that you might watch on? I might put it on. I put it on 4K on the telly, watch it. I might not watch it for 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. Again.
I could be dead in 5 years.
Could be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're talking about, you know, so you've got the upgrade in there. You've got two different elements of double dipping here, in that I'm double dipping because there's an upgrade, okay, which I can understand. But what about when we're just talking packaging? And this just goes back to me saying that we've bought editions that are discless.
Yeah.
So we're stepping outside the territory, like I said, outside the territory of the film. And we can't say what's about the film. It's not, because me purchasing something that I know is discless is an admission of I'm buying for the packaging.
Yeah.
I can't even argue, you know, that I'm buying for the film on previous releases, because I'm kind of contradicting myself in other purchases. I'm buying for the packaging. But obviously, it is a film that I like and enjoy. You know, I'm not just buying for a packaging for a film that I didn't like.
I suppose you could. I mean, there are some editions where you could say by buying the discless edition, you do have a standard edition. So actually, you're kind of improving because your love of the film, you're improving that edition to something that's a bit more fancy. You know, it's better packaging, or you know, it's nicer artwork and that. So you feel like your love of that film, you've then got this really nice edition that you've got on your shelf. But then, should we be keeping the older editions? I mean, just to show you an example. I mean, I just recently picked this up. The Abyss,
Mhm. Yeah.
on DVD.
Yeah,
This is no
your holy
VHS actually.
grail,
No, yeah, the
your
Holy
holy
Grail.
grail of VHS.
Yeah,
Your
20 odd years ago, no, 30 odd years ago, this came along.
It's like I
But
said to you, that's
I've
the
also,
edition. That's the very edition that you missed out on in that
yes,
WH Smith. When you went in
it
WH
was,
Smith, you saw it, you left, you thought, oh, I might go back and get that. You did go back to
yeah,
get it. It was gone.
it was gone. Yeah,
It's that
that's
very
it.
one. That's the one that you missed out. Very edition, still with the WH Smith logo on it.
I tell you what, it
That
would
all
be
these years
amazing.
later has come back to you.
It would be amazing if this is the actual one, the actual
It
number,
is. It
because it's
is.
actually got the WH Smith thing on there. But anyway, we're moving off there.
It's serendipitous. That is. It's
Yeah.
meant to be. It's worked its way back to you. It's got a story. It's got a backstory to it that you don't know. That edition.
Absolutely.
That it's been on this journey that you will never know about.
No,
It could tell you a story of decades.
yeah, it could have been. But you see, I've got this as well, which I picked up from a charity shop. I only think it only cost me like 20 pence, and it's the US version. And I've also got the UK version.
Oh, is that show me that edition again?
That one.
Side on. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
You've got that one.
Yeah.
Nice edition. Again, it's got a nice booklet. Probably the similar booklet to what's in that other one, but
and you probably have the UK one, but you've got on that, you've got the time lapse build of the. Don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a time lapse build of the underwater, the oil rig.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the special features. It might be on
Under
the UK
Pressure
as well.
The Making of the Abyss.
Yeah, but there's a time lapse, and you see them building it upwards, and then they start filling the tank with water while they're still building it. So they're building above the water line. Yeah, it's probably about 8 minutes long of a time lapse, and it's just done to music, and it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
But you see, this is Region 1 now. I can't play Region 1. So again, why am I picking out? Well, it was only, I think it was 25p when I got it, so it was like peanuts.
Yeah.
But again, it's it's a film I love, and obviously we've got the 4K version coming out this year. This being a film that's never been released on Blu-ray, the DVD version is, well, certainly the UK one, it's letterbox, so it's so small on the screen.
Yeah,
and it's the cut edition in the UK as well.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, you can understand why people would double dip, because they've not got it in HD unless you've got the bootleg, that is about.
So yeah. Would you see double dipping? I wouldn't. When you upgrade a format, when you go from, I mean, if you look at it like this, we're all guilty of double dipping, right? Because we've all gone from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, in some cases to 4K. Now, that's not really double dipping, is it? Because you're upgrading each time. But what you're doing there, you could class as double dipping because you're stepping down.
Yeah.
You're stepping down a format.
Yeah.
Essentially. So again, whenever you've picked up a VHS or a DVD, it's double dipping. If you step down, but not if you step up. Or is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Yeah, but I think, like you say, it's the collector in this that I mean, there's people out there, and I've seen one particular guy, and he's got hundreds of versions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Literally, so many editions of this film on all different formats. And you could say, well, that's not just double dipping. That's like, he's got it 15, 20, 30, 40 times or whatever it is.
So what's your guilty one? What's your version that you've multiple dipped on the most, and you would still be tempted to if another edition came along?
The Matrix for me. So I think I've got 6 versions of that film on different formats. And yeah, you're right. I mean, if obviously you've got the new Titans of Cult, packaging that's come out, obviously with the Gladiator one. They've actually, not only have they changed the format, you've then got your standard edition, which is what, 50 quid, and then you've got the £100 edition, which is supposedly even more premium in its packaging. Personally, by looking at both of those, I don't think they're personally worth the money.
I don't think Titans of Cult would do another Matrix, because obviously Titans of Cult already done Matrix, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
They did, yeah.
In their earlier. So I think that'd be a bit cheeky of them if they went and gave you another Matrix edition under that label. But if the next Film Vault range was announced, and I'm pretty sure that Matrix is probably in their sights,
yeah,
would you get it?
I think if the artwork really sort of spoke to me, then I would be very tempted. Yeah, it's madness, really, when you think about it. You just think, I don't need this film. I've got it 5 or 6 times, all on different formats. I think I've got the Matrix twice on 4K, although I'm potentially selling one of the standard Amarais of that, so that may be going, because I can't really justify having a standard Amaray on 4K and then I've actually got it 3 times on 4K, because I've got the Titans of Cult Steelbook.
Yeah,
I've got the Mantalab edition, which is 4K, and then I've got the standard Amaray edition on 4K. It's mental, isn't it?
Do you feel mugged off? Do you look at them and think, I'm a bellend for buying all them? What was I doing? What? I'm a twat. Does that ever come into your mind? Right, because that question can be reversed to me, obviously. It's not a question aimed at you. It's a question aimed at myself as well.
Yeah. I think at times you do kind of question your own collecting habits, and you think, why have I done this? But then there's also that part of you that actually looks at that edition and actually thinks, no, I really do like that. I wouldn't want to part with it. Possibly with me, as I say, with the standard Amaray, I kind of think, yeah, it's nice artwork, but do I really need this? Probably not. Sell it on. Yeah, I think it depends on how you're feeling, and.
But yeah, because the one that I mean, more recently for me, let me just pick out some examples. So I bought the Alligator set from 101 Films. It cost 40 quid, right?
Yeah.
But I already had a American steelbook. No, not American. I think it was German, or somewhere European.
Yeah.
And that contains everything that the 101 release contains, with the exception of the artwork, which some people have said isn't particularly good. The new artwork on it, obviously, it ain't got the box. But one of the biggest points for me was the booklet. Was it selling points for me? But that's 40 quid I paid for that. Barbie, I bought 2 Barbie steelbooks, right, because I didn't know which one I liked best, the Blu-ray and a 4K version. I ended up keeping both because, I didn't mind Barbie as a film. I first time I was a bit, second time I enjoyed it. But then I went and bought the other edition that came, which had the CD soundtrack in it and Bump, and it was in a thick case. Right, so I got 3 versions of Barbie, which I got dug out for by many a person. But there we go. Life in plastic is fantastic, so they say. But one of the ones that gets me, right, one of the ones that I did feel guilty about, and I didn't in the end, was Blue Beetle. I bought them 2 steelbooks of Blue Beetle.
You did.
Not knowing, and it's not even a film that I really enjoyed, So I look back at that and I think, why did I do that? Bit stupid, really. I mean, I know I sent it on to you in the end, but I was quite pleased. I was quite happy with that. I didn't mind. Do you know what I mean? I was happy that I could pass it on to someone who wanted it, who didn't get it, and it made them happy. So there's that. But in hindsight, it's like, that's a bit stupid. And I'll tell you, I almost done it with Transformers Rise of the Beasts. 2 steelbooks.
Yeah.
You had the painted one, the other one with Optimus Prime on it. And there was a couple of times where I was really tempted to double dip on that steelbook. I didn't double dip on it, which I'm quite happy about now. In hindsight. But the temptation was there.
Yes. Yeah, and they know that, the retailers know that, and that's why, that's why they do it, So
Brilliant. Not that. So dog being naughty. Yeah, so so there are times that I feel like, why have you done this?
mm-hmm.
But then I make up for it now, right? Because I had, well, not double dipping, but Captain Marvel. Now, like I said, with the Marvel stuff, I used to I'd get an Amaray and I'd get a steelbook because I've got the film collection twice. That's the comic book collector in me. But more recently, I've kind of feel like I've stepped away over the past few releases and just gone steelbook. Right. But then now you've got Captain Marvel, and I'll be honest, I've got, as we're filming this, that's out. Captain Marvel's out this Monday, I believe. And I've got the Marvels, yeah, sorry. And I've got none of them. I've got none on order.
No.
I'm not picking up the steelbooks. I think the steelbook's hideous. And I'm not picking up our 4K Amaray because the film isn't very good. I will get it down the line when it's far cheaper for the Marvel collection, because that's filling that in. But double dipping, no. Steelbook, no.
Yeah. And again, I think it again, that desire to want more editions of a film that you love, it's clearly not there with that one because you didn't really enjoy the film. You're mainly getting that because you're a completionist for the Marvel films. You like to have all of the Marvel films, but why pay 15, 20 quid for it, whereas in probably 6 months, maybe less, it's probably going to be a fiver down at CEX.
Well, that's one of the ones that I imagine I'll get a 4K of in CEX for about 8 quid.
Yeah.
When it drops to that price, I'll wait until it gets to at least a tenner before I consider even grabbing it. Maybe 8 quid would be that sort of nice round figure where I'd have in my mind that most definitely that's what I'd like to grab it for.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we've discussed at length on this.
I think so, but let me just put some questions out there to people who are going to be watching this. Get involvement. So, can you honestly say, anyone watching, that you've never double dipped? I'm not talking about upgrading from one to another. I'm talking about just a double dip. Even if you get rid of the old one, fair enough. But I'm talking about upgrading formats. That don't count. But let's say, because just one other thing, I would like to say that I think that 88 Films is probably one of the best, for me, double dipping formats. Double dipping where I feel that for a decent price, I'm getting something better than the standard edition, if that makes sense. I know that it's just, you get a case, a lovely case, and you get art cards and a poster. But I think for the price format the price points that they do, 88 Films are really good for that sort of a thing. And also, people who have double dipped, what's your guilty one? What's your guilty film? What would you say is the one that you've got the most of, or the one that that if another edition came along, you would definitely be getting it?
Yeah.
Let's find out from people what they, or are we just stupid? Are we mugs?
Yeah, well,
I
guess we're doing it ourselves, aren't we? Nobody's forcing us to do it.
No.
No.
I think at the end of the day, it's what's worth it. Yeah, it's what's worth it for you.
Yeah.
You know, there is no. I don't think there's any. Anyone. No one's a mug for doing it. I don't think. I think it's what you feel as a collector is worth it for you. You know, so there's no judgment. 3 copies of Barbie. You know,
pop your comments down in the comments section. It would be great to get some comments on this. I'd say AJ's giving you some questions there. And yeah, it's been a great discussion. And yeah, we're planning to do another podcast in the coming weeks. And so yeah, look out for that. And yeah, thanks ever so much for joining me today, AJ, and discussing this topic. It's been great.
Yeah, let's see what other people got to say. Get involved and let us know if you like this format. Obvious is us doing this because me and Matt do have a list of subjects to be covering and discussing in a shorter format. And yeah,
cool. Right. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and see you next time.
See you later.